So this is going to be a really important video because I'm going to show you how every business, every e-commerce business in America can get a $10,000 grant within the next couple of days delivered straight to their bank account and also apply for a much bigger loan from the government to help out with this corona pandemic that's going on. Literally every e-commerce business in America, every small business in America can qualify for a special economic disaster loan. But on top of that, right now, if you apply within this specific window with the government, you can get a $10,000 advance, which turns into a grant. Every business in the US can qualify for this. In this video, I'm going to show you why they're doing it, the reasons behind it, how it's working, and then how you can apply and exactly the link you need to go to do it. I get nothing for telling you this. I'm just trying to help because this is a massive opportunity for e-commerce businesses. Yes, the coronavirus is scary, but on top of that, it's also causing a massive shift. Everybody is stuck at home. They still want to consume, so they're all turning their eyes to the internet, all right? So the e-commerce world is poised for a massive growth spike in the next coming weeks and months, and it's going to change the way online shopping is done forever. Only 7 to 12% of the world has shopped online up until now. Now, retail stores are closed. They have no other option but to shop online. And you, as an e-commerce store owner, have that opportunity. So not only is the opportunity there, but now the government is actually going to be giving you tax dollars, stimulus dollars to help you grow your business, and even potentially in a grant and also in a loan format where you can get even more money, okay? But everybody, every e-commerce business in America can get $10,000 wired to their bank account within the next 2 to 3 days if they capitalize on this right now. So let's hop over to my slide deck and I'll show you what's up. So let's set the stage first, all right? So this CARES Act, this is the federal response, okay? What is the federal government doing to help with the coronavirus and corona pandemic, okay? They've done 3 phases. The CARES Act is the most recent phase, okay? And that's the one that can impact small business and large business, okay? So phase 1 was the initial support and vaccine development. They gave $8.3 billion to help develop a vaccine. That was phase 1. Phase 2 was paid leave, unemployment, and food assistance, where they gave $100 billion in worker assistance for emergency paid sick leave and things like that. That came into effect March 18th. Now, March 27th is when the CARES Act, which is the Corona Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, came into play. This is a stimulus package of over $2 trillion, and it's only the first of several different stimulus packages for businesses that are coming out, and I'll explain more in a minute. Now, these are loans to support major industries, airlines, and small businesses, and these are direct payments to individuals and families. This is also the package where people will be getting that $1,000 to $1,200 check. Individual families and stuff like will be getting that. Now, this became Law 327. Okay, that's the federal response. Okay, now that's the global federal response. Now, why are they making this response? Okay, all right, here's why. Now, small businesses, as the SBA says, the Small Business Administration says that small businesses should be deemed critical infrastructure to the U.S. Why? Taking care of Main Street, which is the main businesses in America, the small business owner, is critical, all right? Why? Well, America is all about the small business, right? There's 30 million small businesses in America, which comprise a whopping 99.9% of all businesses in America. Now, a small business, according to the Small Business Association, is any business that is less than 500 employees, from 1 employee to a small mom and pop shop up to 500 employees. All of those are considered small business. Most small business in America is sub 50 employees. Okay, that makes it the vast majority. In the the 5 to 10 to 15 employee range is kind of the norm. All right. Now, 77 million employees in America alone are employed by small businesses. That does not count virtual workers, remote staff outside of the country. That's just in the U.S. All right. That's a massive, massive part of the infrastructure. And small businesses are the ones that make America run. The small business owners pay 47% of all payroll tax in the country, okay? Payroll tax is one of the biggest revenue generators for the government. If small businesses stop paying payroll, the government doesn't collect its tax, people don't get their checks, there's a whole big thing, right? And small businesses create 70% of all new jobs each and every year. So 70% of the job creation, that new available jobs to cut down the unemployment rate, are by people like you and me. Small business owners. Not always e-commerce. This encompasses all small business, but e-commerce is within that framework, okay? And small business is at risk, all right? 48%, this is insane. 48% of small businesses will not reopen if they have to close for more than 10 days. They can't support the cash flow, all right? Now, if that goes to 30 days, the number jumps to over 75% of businesses will not reopen if they have to stay closed for over 30 days. The government realizes this. The Small Business Association or administration realizes this. And Ashley Bell, their spokesperson, says, our charge is to get money into the hands of those people who will use the funds to keep the country running. Small business owners will do the right thing for the economy. The government can't let the small business owner fail. So what they're doing is they're releasing a lot of the tax funds they've collected and giving us some of our money back in the form of this stimulus package, okay? So the current offering, now this is the first of many. There's actually, right now it is Thursday, the 2nd, April 2nd. On the 3rd, a whole nother package is getting released called the 7A PPP, paycheck protection, payroll protection thing, but that hasn't been fully released yet. This is available right now, and this can be in your bank account within the next couple of days. So I'll shoot another video later for you guys. Right now, what's available is the EIDL SBA loan. Okay, this is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Okay, SBA does all kinds of disaster loans for all kinds of things. Corona qualifies as an economic disaster to businesses. They're making at least $50 billion available in an expanded funding in this first round. This is additional money, okay? The purpose is to help small business owners with low interest loans, to give them working capital to pay their business expenses, pay their employees, and keep operating, all right? Small businesses who are eligible, which is small businesses and private nonprofits located in geographic areas, basically the states and U.S. protectorates, okay? So this is for U.S. companies. The loan amounts, this is crazy. When the SBA released this slide, it was eligible businesses may receive up to $2 million in assistance, okay? That has now been changed to $10 million, okay, just yesterday. So now eligible businesses may receive up to a $10 million loan, all right? Small businesses pay 3.75% interest amortized over 30 years. Okay, we're talking about a 30-year note. So you could pay it back faster if you want, but the interest rate is ridiculously low. The payment schedule is super cheap. Your payments will be ridiculously cheap. And they are potentially going to be forgiving portions of these loans if they're used for business expenses and you can prove it through your taxes. Right now, the EIDL loans, the only quote unquote guaranteed grant or forgiveness part of the loan is the original $10K that you can get as an advance, which I'll explain in just a second. The rest of the money, let's say they give you $100,000, the rest of that other 90 would potentially still be a loan over 30 years for 3.75%. However, there are talks right now, this is happening live, so they haven't finished all the regulations. The loans are being given already, is that a percentage of these loans may be forgiven as well. So let's say of that 100,000 you got, 10,000 was already granted off that initial 10,000, and then you used 40,000 for payroll. And they say, you know what, we're going to forgive all payroll expense money that was spent on payroll, and you can show it. Well, then your loan would only be 50,000 over 30 years for 3.75%. There's even talk right now of these interest loans being dropped to 0.5 percentage point. Okay, this is the cheapest money that's ever been available in my lifetime of business. I've been around in business since 2001. I've never seen money this cheap or this available, especially not with this $10,000 instant advance available to practically every small business in America, especially available to e-commerce businesses as well. Okay, they need you to stay operating because people can't shop if your store's shut down. Okay, so the basics of this loan, the Economic Impact Disaster Loan, which is the EIDL, it's funded by FEMA and it's administered by the SBA. Okay, now it includes COVID-19 pandemic impact. Now, how this is going to work? The SBA offers different terms in their EIDLs based on your needs. So you could, if you say, I want a shorter repayment term or a longer repayment term or whatever else. Loans are available up to $2 million. That's actually $10 million now as of yesterday. And loans less than $200,000 are approved without a personal guarantee. What does that mean? That means these loans don't show up on your credit if they're less than $200,000. They also won't go after you to collect. They obviously are going to want you to pay, but it's not going to show up on your credit. It's not going to deem your credit. There's no assets required to be held as like collateral against the loan. No guarantee. These are under $200,000. These are just loans that are basically for your business that are not attached to you as a person. That's insane. I've never seen this. I've never heard of this. And most people that I know that are into this space don't either. Okay, so this is a huge opportunity. Now, the term is 30 years. The interest rates are 3.75% for small businesses. There is talk of lowering that, but currently these are the published rates. And if you're a nonprofit, which if you're in e-commerce, you're probably not, but 2.75% if you're a nonprofit. So proof of economic impact is required. It's not crazy. They just ask you a few questions. The first month's payments are going to be deferred from a full year from the date of the promissory note. So the day you approve the loan, they approve the loan and you accept it, you have a full year before payments are even due. So they're not even making you pay during this time. You're just allowed to use the money. And this is the big part. This is where every e-commerce business can benefit right now within the next few minutes, okay? Because it only takes about 10 minutes, if that, to apply. Borrowers, that's you, can receive $10,000 in an emergency grant cash advance that can be forgiven. A grant means it's not taxed, okay? Or it's not a payback. It's given to you, okay? And it can be forgiven, meaning it won't even show up on your taxes and you won't have to pay it back, right? 10 grand emergency cash advance. Applicants can get the emergency cash even if they don't qualify for additional funds quickly or at all, okay? So what does this mean? You're going to fill out the application that I'm going to show you on the SBA's website. Let's say you have an e-commerce business and it's really small. You've done $5,000 in sales in 2019, last year, up to January of this year, right? $5,000. Probably not going to qualify for a big loan. But you still can qualify for that immediate $10,000 emergency grant right now. And they'll give you that, they'll wire that into your bank account within a couple of days. And then they'll go and look at your loan application in your business and say, oh, you know what, we can't give you any more, or we could give you an extra 2 or 10 or 15 or however much they're offering you. So, but the businesses that are in operation that have multiple years tax returns and things like that, and have a bigger revenue generator and a bigger payroll or a bigger expense list, can also qualify for additional money. But every business in America, specifically in this case, we're talking about e-commerce businesses. If you're in America, you operate a U.S. and file U.S. taxes, and you've been in operation in 2019 and 2020, you can get this $10,000 wired to your bank account within the next couple of days. Okay, this is not my money. I don't get a commission on this. This is from the federal government to keep you in operation. So if you need inventory, you need to pay payroll, things like that, you can do all of those things. So what do you need to do right now? Okay, well, first right now, you need to go apply for the EIDL loan and get the immediate $10,000 advance. Okay, the website you want to go to is COVID19relief.sba.gov. I'm going to pull this site up real quick and show you what is going on. Okay, so when you go to COVID19relief.sba.gov, this is the application that you get, okay? This literally takes 5 to 10 minutes to fill out at the most, okay? So when you fill this out, your eligibility verification, applicant is a small business with not more than 500 employees. This is going to be 99.9% of you. Read through all of these, but most of these should not apply to most e-commerce businesses. Click this one. Here, you have to answer all these things. For me, they were all no. And then it allows you to continue. All right, now it asks for your business information. This form is super simple, guys. You don't need hardly anything. You don't need your taxes right now to get the initial $10,000. You don't need anything. It's very, very simple. So you need your legal name, your trade name. So for Build, Grow, Scale, our business legal name is Build, Grow, Scale, LLC. Our trade name is Build, Grow, Scale, okay? Your EIN or social security number if it's a sole proprietorship, so this would be your tax ID number. Then you select your organization type, what you are. Nonprofit. No, it's not a nonprofit, not a franchise. Then right here, it asks for your gross revenues for the 12 months prior to the date of disaster. Okay, so 2019, what was your gross revenue for 2019? What was your cost of goods sold for 2019? Okay, if this is $500, it's $500. If it's $5 million, it's $5 million. Whatever the amount is, just put it in. There is no limit to being able to qualify for this $10,000 right now, okay? Everybody can qualify right now. You may get a little bit less. Like, let's say your business only was in operation for 1 month of 2019, but it's in 2020. You may not get the full 10, but you get something, okay? So every business, I'm telling you guys, every e-commerce business needs to do this right now. If you're in the real estate space, you need to do the rental properties, nonprofit, combined annual operating expenses for faith-based entities. These are mostly going to be empty for most people. We're doing it for your business. So if you have an e-commerce business and you also own real estate, those don't mix. We're just talking about your e-commerce business. And then, so basically fill this out. Anything that's not you, just leave blank. You don't have to put anything else in there. And then it asks for your address, zip code, alternate phone number, the date you established your business, how long you've owned it. It asks you to pick what you do, how many employees you have, then you move on to the next. I can't go to the next page unless I fill all this out. But so the next page, that's the business information page. The next page asks you for the owner's information. If it's just one owner, then it's just you. If you have a partner that's a 20% owner or more, then you need to add them too. And you just add all their personal information. There's no tax information required. You just provide your name, address, social security number, and that's it. Then on the additional information screen, this is where there's a checkbox and it says, do you want to be entered into the $10,000 emergency cash grant? If you check that box, it will open a window and it'll ask you for your bank account information. You put in your bank name, your routing information, your account number, and save it. And then it'll take you to the summary page and you click submit. If you don't check that box, you won't qualify for the 10K. Now, this is important. Even if you don't qualify for a loan later on, you still can get the 10K. And they wire that money to your account. Most people are getting it within 2 to 3 days. They say it can take up to 7. Most people are getting it within 2 to 3 days. All right? So on that additional information page, you need to check that box and put in your bank account information. And then, so it's basically like a 2-step thing. The first thing, in terms of the loan, step 1 is to get the immediate $10,000 wired to your account. Check that box, fill out that information. Then they get you that money to give you some give you some relief real quick. And then their underwriters in their loan department will actually look at your application and say, hey, we need your tax return, or we have other questions, or they ask you to fill out more forms. And then they'll do the actual loan progression. But every e-commerce business in America right now can get this 10K right now, even if they don't qualify for a loan. Now here's the other kicker. Every business you own that files taxes in the US can fill this out. I have 4 different companies, okay? Fill it out 4 times. Okay? I don't know if I'm gonna get a loan on all of them, but every company qualifies because they all pay taxes and they all have revenue and cost of good and all of that. So if you have more than one business, you can fill this out more than one time, once for each business. The important thing is that you don't spoof it and you do give them your real information in terms of your revenue numbers, because for the loan aspect, they're gonna have to verify that against tax returns, all right? Now, they may also need a 2019 profit and loss statement, which every business should have anyway, but that's very simple. You just basically calculate what your profit and loss is from January 1st to the current date, which is now April 2nd. Okay, and then you would just update that daily if they needed you to provide a current one. All right, so this is all you have to do. You do this, guys, you can have that initial 10K within the next couple of days. And this is huge because it's a massive way for you to make a good chunk, not make money, but get access to a good chunk of money that you can use to weather this storm and help position your business for this new growth of e-commerce online buyers that's coming. It's already started. Most of the stores in our Ecom Insider Business Accelerator program, our amplified partner stores that we work with, most of them are seeing massive numbers right now. Some of them are having record months in March, which is normally slow. Okay, and we're having all of them fill out this application, because why not get the funds if it's available? Yeah, if you have to pay the loan back, that's great. But you have a year before it even starts, and if, let's say you get an extra 100 grand, could you use that in your business to help it grow and help it weather the storm and keep your employees and you fed? Absolutely. This is the cheapest money on the market. You can never borrow money this cheap, and it's legitimately available to every US business. And this video is specifically for those of you like me who are in the e-commerce space. So if you have a US e-commerce business, you file US taxes, fill out this application now. Go to COVID19relief.sba.gov. Now, let me hop back to the slides because there's a few more things I want to tell you. So what do you do next? You filled out this application, and what happens next? Okay? Once you fill out the application, it's going to say success. Here's your application number, and we will email you at your email address. Okay, that's what it was going to show you. But like I told you guys at the beginning of the video, this is the first step of business aid. Some individual states are already offering additional small business grants, not loans, grants to help businesses stay in operation and keep their employees employed and keep the economy moving. There's lots of money becoming available. This is the very first one, the EIDL. Tomorrow, April 3rd, another loan comes out, which is called the 7A PPP loan, which is the payroll protection plan. And this one is for businesses that have payroll, pay payroll tax, and meet all these different requirements, which they're still establishing, and they will release tomorrow, supposedly, to the world. This one is, you may not qualify for this one. This one may be, you don't have any employees or different things like that, but you can still apply for it. And that's just one more loan that's coming out. I'll give you guys more details in another video about that loan when it comes out. That loan is supposedly a full or at least partial guaranteed forgiveness loan, where if the money is used to operate your business within these specific categories of payroll, rent expense, 401ks, pensions, things like that, that money will all be forgiven and you won't have to repay it. All right, so that loan is coming out. That's not one you can apply for right now. It's also for more established businesses. There's more requirements. But what you can do right now, talk to your accountant if you need to. Go ahead and compile the last 3 years of your business tax returns. Get the 3 years of each owner's tax returns. So, my partner Matthew Stafford and I would need to pull out both tax returns, not just mine, because we both own the business. Anyone who owns more than 20% of your company, you need 3 years tax returns for them. Okay, now what are you going to do with them? Nothing yet. You're just going to get this stuff together. You're going to get your 2019 tax return done. But if you don't have it done, like mine's not done yet, make sure you have year-end financial statements that show how 2019 ended for you, profit, loss, all of that. Fill out a personal financial statement. You can get that off the SBA's website or from your bank or online. You can fill out a traditional debt schedule, so you can list out all of your debts, what their payments are, who owns them, collateral, all of that. Then you want to calculate your monthly operating expenses for the last 12 months. And you want to make sure these different things are broken out: salaries, insurance, and rent expense. And then when the SBA application is available for the next set of loans, you want to fill that out. Why am I telling you to get these ready right now? Because there is more money coming, okay? There are going to be multiple levels of this relief, individual state loans, more federal loans. There are more things in the pipeline that are being brought to life in phases, okay? They got to get this out too. And you want to have this stuff ready, because if you don't, you might wind up not getting the money, because when the money's gone, it's gone. So if you wait and don't apply for this $10,000 initial advance right now and the additional loan, you might miss out on this batch of funds. Sounds like a lot of money, but when you got millions of businesses applying for it, it doesn't go very far. Okay, so if you have all this stuff together, this is all the things that the SBA has said that they are likely to require for any kind of loan that they're going to issue. And if you have that, when the next loan comes out, you hear about it, you see my video, or you see something else where you can apply, boom, you'll have all of it together. You can go throw your application in really fast and get to the front of the line for the next bit of stimulus funds that you can use to help your business. All right. So right now you need to go over there, fill out that application, get that video done, or get that application done so you can get the 10K. And then the next thing you need to think about is, with all these shoppers coming online now, doubling and tripling the amount of people whose eyeballs are on your store almost overnight. Like, it's just going to start growing and growing and growing. Advertising is cheap right now. There's lots of Facebook grants for ad credits. Google is doing an ad credit grant as well for businesses. There's lots of stuff available, lots of stimulus. You need to make sure that your store is ready to handle that. Now, the real reason most businesses die is not because of starvation, meaning it's not because they can't get enough traffic. So there's about to be more traffic than you've ever had in your life available. So it's not traffic. Most businesses die of indigestion. And that means their inability to digest that traffic and turn it into sales. The reason they have indigestion is because their store is broken. It's not optimized. So to make sure that's on point, watch these two videos right here. They're going to take you further down the optimization route and show you exactly what you need to do to get your store dialed in so that it can digest all the traffic that comes your way. See ya.